Nestled in the remote corner of Southwest Virginia, this region captivates with its rugged landscapes, natural wonders, cultural attractions, and outdoor adventures. Experiences you'll only find in the heart of Appalachia. Adventure guides available at heartofappalachia.com.
Floyd, Virginia. It's a one-stoplight town with a reputation for preserving and promoting old-time music at places like the historic Floyd Country Store, now owned by Dylan and Heather Locke, who have poured their hearts into continuing the traditions of Appalachia by giving folks a place to play, sing, dance, and learn at the historic country store.
Well, the way I think about old-time music is just the music that sort of has been played around the Blue Ridge Mountains and a lot of parts of the U.S., but I think about it as Southwest Virginia and sort of the eastern shoreboard. I think about old-time music as like a lot of the first music that was being played in the mountains here with fiddle and banjos. And I think the biggest determination for me is about music played in community. I think of old-time music as sort of celebratory music and not so performance-based. So I think about it as music played for dancers and for sort of a fun celebration of life as opposed to performance music. I think what makes a jam interesting, I think there's a lot of layers to that. First of all, I think that humans playing music, I think, is a really fascinating thing. I think it's one of the more interesting and fascinating things that humans do. I think there's like layers of this instrument that's made with wood and wires and the tones you can get out of it and where the wood comes from and all that. And then, so you just start with that as a pretty fascinating thing. Then playing it is really difficult and takes a lot of time and effort and energy and care. And then you do that with other humans in a jam. And it just brings this incredible sense of community and collaboration and togetherness and all of those things about the instrument and the sounds and the people and the tunes and where they came from. And it's just a big swirling sort of set of details and information and emotions, and it's just really awesome.
Old-time jams can be found all over the region. They're a combination of performance, learning, experience, and community.
When we see it here at the store, of course, when we do our jams here at the store, they're done in a circle, where everyone's facing each other. And I think another sort of like beautiful, hidden, awesome thing about jams is the way humans are facing into one another. It is like a friend of mine, she's a hip-hop scholar, and she thinks about it as the cipher, the circle, 360 degrees. It's the dinner table, it's the drum circle, it's the board meeting room. It's anywhere where humans are facing into each other, where they're really like present with each other. So that's a jam, an old-time jam, a bluegrass jam, a music jam, where it's a circle and you're facing each other. I think it provides an opportunity for humans to connect with each other in a more meaningful and deep way. So that's what we love about our jams here at the Floyd Country Store.
Jim Lloyd of Rural Retreat is a one-man encyclopedia of information on old-time music. And he takes his role as musicologist and a teacher of youth very seriously, especially when he talks about the roots of old-time music in America.
Well, it was a tremendous influence on us because everywhere you went in the 1700s, there was a fiddle player. Whether it was an inn or a pub, hotel, church, hanging, there was a fiddle player. Then, like I say, more and more people started coming out. The banjo became more adopted. Music was everywhere in these mountains because that was their entertainment. I mean, it was social functions, church dances. Some churches allowed dances, some of them didn't. But the square dances were a big social event. People really looked forward to that because they worked so hard, there wasn't a lot of recreation.
Old-time music has never been stagnant. It's always evolving. The contributions of enslaved people have been well documented, but Europeans were also influenced by Native Americans as the cultures collided in the New World.
I think that there was a tremendous impact on the vocals. The styles of vocals changed with the Native Americans, and the dance. A lot of the steps that the Indians were using kind of got transferred. The Europeans showed them stuff. It's always an exchange. It's always back and forth. But each generation, the music grew into something different with addition of instruments. So you had fiddle, then you had fiddle and banjo. You had a dulcimer, which was a Scottish and German thing. So Jews harps. Then you didn't see many guitars in the mountains till the first ones through here came up with the railroads in the 1850s. So all of a sudden you had this stringed instrument that was going to become the king later. Up till then, it was fiddle. But each edition instrument took us further down the road. Then when recordings started taking place and radio, you had a huge impact. So before that, you had regional styles that were just particular here and across the mountain. It'd be slightly different, but the medicine show guys would travel. So the doctor would come into a town and he'd say, I need 4 musicians. So, musicians could make money back then because they were playing in the pubs and stuff like that. So a good fiddler, he didn't have to work in the field. He could sit around and play fiddle. So the doctor would hire these guys and they might go 500 or 600 miles away from home. And then the doctor would need some more people, so there was a transfer of tunes with the old crew and the new crew, and the old crew would come home with these other songs. And it would be something that hadn't been heard here. So after radio got started, all of a sudden the new tunes were there and people started copying styles. So one of the early fiddlers was a guy named Arthur Smith. So all of a sudden Arthur Smith played a Tennessee region style of longbow fiddling that people in Grayson County, Virginia hadn't heard. So then you had people trying to play like him. And Earl Scruggs completely dominated banjo when he started. Everybody wanted to sound like Earl Scruggs, so the older style playing the older finger styles and the clawhammer got left behind on that one.
Even before the Carter family recorded their landmark session at the Bristol Hotel in 1927, family bands have always been at the forefront of old-time music. One could argue that you could draw a straight line from the Carter family to the Jackson 5 and the Osmonds in the 70s. One family that's continuing that tradition is the Wilkersons. They perform as the Biscuit Eaters. We caught up with them in Fries, Virginia, near the North Carolina border, to record them singing their version of Cripple Creek.
Too much
Like all music, old-time music has the power to bring people together, which is at the heart of the Floyd Country Store and the Handmade Music School, where people come from far and wide to learn traditional tunes.
It gives us hope in kind of a crazy world, that there is the possibility of togetherness, and even if we have differences, sort of using art as civic repair is the term that got used by a poet on an NPR interview who came in here and participated in the square dance. That was the term that she used, was art as civic repair. So using, in our case, music and dance traditions to sort of like heal us and connect us and repair some of the damage that's done by media and news and the 24-hour news cycle and all of that. It just, I feel like when people come in here, that washes away and there's a moment where they connect. And so that's my favorite thing about it. Old-time music here in this part of Southwest Virginia would have been the music that would have been played at the end of a long day. They would be working hard on the farm, and then they'd get together and probably drink a little bit and play some music and dance, and it's all they had to do, right? Is they didn't have TVs and they didn't have radios, and so they played music and danced together, And I think our Friday night jamboree is that. It's just once a week, and we do it throughout the week too, but basically it's our Friday night, it's our chance to sort of unwind from a long work week and gather and sort of check in and be like, hey, how was your week? Everything good? And get out on the dance floor and release that pressure, if there's pressure, or if, whatever it needs to be for someone, whether it's, adding more happiness or whether it's escaping from something that's hard. It's here for all of us, and for 40 years, people have been gathering here doing that, which is like astounding to me. It's an incredible thing. Again, not very many of those places where people have gathered to do the same thing as a community for that long. Something always goes wrong with it, And so I have a lot of respect and owe a lot of gratitude to the previous owners, because here I am me and my wife in our phase of it, being able to do what we're doing because people started it, kept it going, and handed it over to us to caretake, to be the stewards of now. So the Friday night jamboree is just and people come from all over the world. It's just an awesome thing. We're proud of it. The locals are proud of it. It's something that we are happy to share, and grateful that people come every week and join us.
Just down the road from Floyd, near the North Carolina border, is the town of Independence. It's home to Lloyd's Barbershop, where Jim hosts jam sessions with kids who are continuing the traditions of old-time music. It's also home to Junior Appalachian Musicians, a nonprofit serving several southern states and providing an opportunity for kids to play this timeless music.
I've said this in front of them before, but this is one of the best groups I've ever had. And I've been teaching for 39 years now. I started when I was 2. Let's try Bear Tracks then. How long have we been together now? We've been 2 years? Is it about right? And Charlotte literally has been playing a matter of weeks, so she's just now getting used to it. Roe's only been at the bass for about a little over a year now. He's done remarkably well too. Ernie is the one that's got the problems. Guitar was still relatively new to Appalachia when the recordings were happening in the 20s, so I'm not so sure a lot of people knew the chords. They really didn't understand. So instead of going to minor, they would use the major, which is all they knew. Or they might have just liked the sound of it, I don't know. A lot of times this stuff laying around in here is good too. That guitar she was just playing is out of the late 40s. It gives them a chance to play some of the older, you know.
Fiddlers Conventions are events where musicians from all over come together to jam and compete. And for almost 90 years, Galax has been home to one of the best. Playing on the main stage there is like a rite of passage for many young musicians. Producer Sadie Pettit went to the 2024 Fiddlers Convention to document the magic.
It's a gathering steeped in tradition, and being there felt like stepping into a living, breathing celebration of music and community. The convention got its start back in the spring of 1935. A few members of the newly formed Moose Lodge, number 733, came up with the idea as a way to raise funds and gain a little publicity. In a newspaper article from the time, they wrote that the event was dedicated to keeping alive the memories and sentiments of days gone by, and making it possible for people of today to hear and enjoy the tunes of yesterday. And I'd say they've more than succeeded in keeping that spirit alive. In the early days, most contestants came from Carroll, Grayson, and nearby counties in Virginia and North Carolina. Performers and bands show up from all over. Big cities, college campuses, and just about anywhere that old-time music is loved and played. Some come to compete, others just to soak it all in. It's not just about the music, though that's certainly the centerpiece. It's about being part of something that feels bigger. It's about sharing a love for folk and country music, for history, and for the simple joy of being together. When I was walking around the grounds, I could feel the happiness and excitement in the air. Music poured out from every direction, with bands playing under tents scattered across the venue. You could let your ear and your heart guide you, wandering toward the melodies that pulled you in. There was a strong sense of camaraderie everywhere you looked. People laughing, swapping stories, and just soaking up the atmosphere. Rows of RVs and campers stretched out across the grounds, each with its own makeshift front yard adorned with coolers, grills, and chairs. It was a place where strangers became friends, and friends became like family, all gathered together on a warm August afternoon to create memories that would last a lifetime. Being there wasn't just an experience, it felt like being part of a story that's been told for nearly a century and will continue to be written in the years to come.
To an outsider, it may seem like mountain music is simply rooted in the traditions of Europeans who arrived here in the 18th century, but there's a lot more to it than that.
I think there's a misunderstanding in how diverse old-time string band music is. So this is music that isn't necessarily a white form of music. This is a music that was played by blacks. There's a lot of the There's a lot of the dance figures and things like that come from Native Americans, dancing in circles and all of that, and is Native American. A lot of the dance calls and figures that happen on the floor come from Europe, France, British Isles. The instruments come from all over the world. The banjo's African. Bird in the cage, which is a common square dance call, is African. There's and dancing in a way where you would move your upper body and move your arms around is African American. So this is a music, a dance, and a community that's influenced and inspired by people from all around the world. And I think it's important for people to understand that. It's much deeper than hillbilly music, right? And when you pull back the curtain and you dig into that, it's fascinating. And I think people would really enjoy learning more about its history, and also sort of undoing some of the negative history, the whitewashing, the sort of race records, and the fact that we took a moment in time and decided white people were going to like this and black people were going to like this, and that there's people out there that are undoing that history, and starting to tell the story the way it is. And that, as we move forward, is going to unfold and create beautiful opportunities for people to connect and understand music in all of its glory, and not be like, well, that's this kind of music and that's this kind of music. It just doesn't work that way. So we're excited about the future. Old-timey, we joke about what's old-timey, but those values back then are still like the way you want to build a community, I've been to Nashville, and there's a lot of real and incredible music there, and kind of in a way, when things get sort of built up so big, some of it starts to feel commercial and sort of delivered to the consumer in a way that they can take it in to a tourist. And I'm proud of this little town for not really doing that. We just sort of hold it and keep it the same and keep it authentic and keep it real. There's nothing, at least to the best of our ability. I'm sure, we would have some critics out there, but to the best of our ability, I know in my heart, and my wife as well, that our goal is to keep it just real, what the people have always wanted it to be, and to try and keep the food good and the experiences honest and sincere. And there's no promotion that is about some sort of experience that's made to entertain you. It's just, we're proud of our community, and we do a thing where we play music and dance and gather and like good food and like beautiful mountains. And if you're into that, come hang out with us, and if you're not, it's cool. We'll be here doing it anyway.
Nestled in the remote corner of Southwest Virginia, this region captivates with its rugged landscapes, natural wonders, cultural attractions, and outdoor adventures. Experiences you'll only find in the heart of Appalachia. Adventure guides available at heartofappalachia.com.